First, beginner level. Medium level. Advanced level. Pro. This one chord makes people cry all the time. I know. It's constantly used in movies, in TV shows, in musical theater on Broadway, in pop songs, in video games. This one chord is used constantly to evoke an emotion out of an audience, out of a viewer or a listener, especially if that emotion is sadness or melancholy, bittersweetness, an emotional maturity. This one chord is the go-to chord, and in this video, I'm going to show you what is this chord, why does it work, what is it doing to your ear, and why is it doing that? Why is it emotionally impacting you? And then I'm going to show you as a piano player how you can have a lot of fun with this chord at a beginner level all the way up to an advanced level. So if you don't know me, my name is Matt. For the last 15 years, I have been a college professor and a professional piano player and composer, and I've worked with hundreds of students. And I'm big on students understanding why should you care about music theory? So an example, why should you care what this chord is? Like, what's it doing? Because you will then be able to tell as an audience member, oh, I understand why my ears are being impacted like this. I understand why that chord is moving me emotionally. How can a chord bring a tear to your eye? We're gonna talk about that today. So grab your tissues, grab your piano or keyboard, and let's have a good cry together. Okay, so let's first talk about what the chord is, and then we'll look at all the fun stuff you can do with it. So this chord is, drum roll, a major seventh chord. Now, what does that mean? Okay, look at my fingers. Let's say I'm playing a basic C major chord, C, E, G, okay? Now, major chords on their own, I use the word basic, but that doesn't mean they're not beautiful, right? That's a beautiful sound. I love a simplistic major chord. But when you add the major seventh into it, it instantly gives a totally new emotional level to it. That's a major seven. Here's C, E, G, the basic major chord. Now I'm going to add the major seven. Now, how do I know what the major seven is? Well, when you build a basic major chord, we usually call it the 1, 3, and 5. What is it the 1, 3, and 5 of? It's the key signature we're in and whatever scale you're building it on. So if I'm building a C major chord, well, I'm building it out of a C major scale. Well, a C major scale, right? If it's 1, 3, and 5 of that scale, C, E, G, that's where we get the notes for a major chord. So that seventh is what would the seventh note be? C, D, E, F, G, that's 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, that B. Whew. Can you hear how much emotional depth is in there? Now, let's talk about why it has emotion. What is it doing to your ear? Here is the beautiful thing about music. Music, you can often describe how notes go together. Is it done in what we call a dissonance way or a consonance way? Meaning, do the notes together sound pleasant or not pleasant? Do they sound balanced? Do they sound imbalanced? Is there tension or is there not tension? So, for example, if I was to just play this, sounds a little bit like a horror film. We probably wouldn't say those notes sound very beautifully balanced, pleasing to the ear, right? Now, that's not to say that's bad, right? If I'm writing music for a horror film, you best believe I'm gonna have a bunch of that type of stuff in it, right? But it has tension in it. A normal major chord, doesn't, right? So a C major chord, that doesn't have tension. That has just beautiful, like beautiful pleasantry to it. But that seventh adds tension because, look at this, look at my fingers. Well, if you know about scales, we always say scales have 8 notes, but really it's only 7 different notes. Because the top note is just repeating the bottom note. The 1 note is the same as the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when I'm adding the major 7th chord, my C, E, G, and B, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, even though it looks like, look at my fingers, even though it looks like that bottom and top note, that C and B, are far away from each other, they're actually right next to each other on the piano. If I were to play a B and C where they're at on the piano together, right, that's tension. Because they're really a 7 and an 8, and 8 is the same as 1. So that B and C together on the piano have a lot of tension. But the major 7th chord does this beautiful trick. It weeds in that tension into something that already doesn't have tension. So if you're watching an emotional movie and all of a sudden the music started doing this, that's a little jarring, right? That's probably not going to make you cry. That's going to make you jump a little bit, right? But instead of having that, I throw in that tension between those 2 notes. I just spread them apart, and in the middle of them, the wrapping paper they're wrapped in is this beautiful major chord. Well, now we have this really awesome balance, like 2 sides of a coin of beautiful balance, pleasantry, that consonant, something that sounds pleasing to the ear, and tension, some darkness and tension, but fusing them together in a specific way, they balance each other out, and it gives this bitter sweetness. This is why this chord has such melancholy to it. It can sound happy and sad at the same time, because it is. It has tension and balance and relaxation in it, all at the same time. Now, it's not just C major 7. Any major 7 chord will do that. So now let's look at a second chord, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to start to practice this on the piano. So we just did C major 7, C, E, G, B. That's the first one. Now let's do another big one, and let's stay in that same key signature. So we're in C major to make it easy. So the second one we're going to learn is F major 7. So we're going to use the same theory that we just learned, okay? So a normal F major chord, FAC, that's the traditional basic one, just a pure F major chord, FAC. But now I'm going to add that 7th note, that major 7th note, which in this case is going to be an E. Ooh, I love it. I love it. So good. F-A-C-E. So the 2 major 7 chords, we've got C, E, G, B, so that's C major 7 chord, and then F-A-C-E, that F major 7 chord. So let's do a simple, quick exercise first before we dive into a bunch of the fun stuff you can do with it. So get your hands on the keyboard, piano if you're doing this with me. First, just try playing C major 7 chord with one hand, C, E, G, B, all right? Just do that for a little bit, okay? And anytime in this video, you can push pause to like practice whatever I'm asking you to practice, however long you need to do it, okay? Once you can do it in each hand individually, then practice both hands together. Then, once you feel comfortable doing chords like this, where you're playing the notes at the same time, then turn them into arpeggios, which is broken chords. It's playing one note at a time. Do that with each hand individually, and then try both hands together. Isn't that beautiful? And then, once you're comfortable with that, mix up chords and arpeggios. Can you have one hand do it as a chord while the other hand's doing it as an arpeggio? Yeah. Can you do it as a ripple? We need you, like you kind of hit each note in quick succession. Can you do it in different octaves? right? All the different ways to get your hands and mind wrapped around those notes. Now, do all of that for the F major 7, right? So can you do it first in each hand at a time, each hand individually at a time? Can you do it together? Can you do it as an arpeggio, broken chords? Can you combine chords and arpeggios? Can you do ripples? Can you play the notes in different octaves? All that fun stuff, yeah? So we're only playing around with 2 chords. Now, here's where it gets fun. Now, I'm only going to fiddle around with those 2 chords. I'm just dealing with C major 7, F major 7, okay? That's it. A lot of times people think when you go from beginner level up through advanced level, you're adding a ton of stuff. Not always. It's often you're just doing the same thing you were doing at a beginner level. You're just honing it in a better way. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to play for you first how you can have fun doing this with just at a beginner level, then at a medium level, intermediate level, then an advanced level, then a pro level. And the concept is I'm just playing chords and melodies built out of that. So my chords are those notes, whatever the major 7 chord is I'm playing, C major 7 or F major 7. I'm just gonna go back and forth between the 2. When I start to add melodies, I'm just staying in the key signature of C major, which is nice because it means it's basically all white notes, right? So it's easier to practice that, fiddle around with that. Just playing in C major scale. So everything I'm doing is just built out of the basic C major key signature scale, which is the easy one, the 2 chords, and I'm just going back and forth, and then we're just schmoozing it as we go, okay? And then I want you to do it on your own and try it, whatever level you're at, okay? So here we go. First, beginner level. Medium level. Advanced level. Pro. And then practice doing it different ways. So this is just being high octave, very gentle, kind of hollow. You can practice it low and busy. Back to empty. It's so beautiful, and it has that emotion. It has that sadness because it has that tension. It's that beautiful balance between relaxation, pleasant sound, something stable, that major chord, and then the tension, the darkness between those 2 notes, that 1 note and that 7 note. Together, 2 sides of the same coin equals sadness, emotion. I love it. So now I want you to practice it on your own, and then let me know in the comments how did it work for you? How do you feel about major seventh chords? Are they easy for you? Are they difficult? Does it sound like stuff you've heard in movies and pop songs a lot? Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And also let me know in the comments, are there any topics you would love for me to cover in a future video? I'm making a list. I've already actually made a couple of videos based on comments I got from viewers. So whenever people give comments on my videos and give me suggestions of, oh, I'd love for you to talk about this in a future video, I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice and I'm making the video. So I'd love to hear from you, okay? And let's keep this piano train rolling. Over here, I'm gonna put on the screen a video I made recently about how can you have emotion when you play piano? We're still dealing with emotions, but now instead of it being a specific chord, it's another technique I talk about of how you can make anything, even a beginner level piano piece, sound extra emotional, extra human. So check that video out. Let me know in the comments how you did with this major seventh chord, what you'd love for me to cover in a future video. Thanks for watching, and until I see you next time, keep making music.